and welcome. I'm Millicent Walker. Tonight, Central Bank of Nigeria releases new set of guidelines for the forex market, but that did not stop the naira from slipping further at the parallel market. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party continues as the Makarfi group holds its meeting in Abuja against all odds. Fresh violence erupts in southern Kaduna as gunmen attack 2 villages, leaving at least 2 people dead. And South Sudan declares a famine, the first so declared in any part of the world in 6 years.
And on Business News tonight, National Association of Small-Scale Industrialists unveils 5-year plan for business and industrial growth in Nigeria.
On Sports News tonight, veteran coach Oke Modi resigns as Abia Warriors manager after a 1-0 home loss to El Kanemi Warriors.
And from Abuja, human rights lawyer Ebun Adeboruwa withdraws suit seeking to stop the confirmation of Ibrahim Magu as EFCC chairman.
We begin tonight with the economy. Nigeria's central bank today rolled out new policy actions in the foreign exchange market as local and international pressure applies on the regulator to relax its tight FX policies considered harmful to the economy and the markets. Well, in this report, Channel's business editor Bosuna Mofaye highlights the key action points that the CBN outlined in the new guidelines.
Nigeria's central bank today announced its first policy actions in the foreign exchange market in 2017. The announcement by the financial regulator also comes less than a week after the National Economic Council asked the CBN to revisit its policies on the FX market as the value of the local currency unit dips almost on a daily basis. Today, the financial regulator announced the direct addition of funding of foreign exchange to banks for onward sales to Nigerians for their personal and basic travel, medical needs and school fees. The new directive takes immediate effect, the CBN statement says. The regulator, however, stipulates that such retail transactions should be settled at a rate not exceeding 20% above the interbank market rate, which finished Monday at 305 naira and 25 kobo to the US dollar. In addition to this, the central bank also announced a significant reduction in the tenor of its forward FX sales from the current maximum cycle of 180 days to no more than 60 days from the date of transaction. This move, the CBN says, will further increase the availability of foreign exchange to all end users. As the regulator seeks to increase efficiency of the FX market that has come under intense local and international criticisms, the CBN says immediate steps are being taken to clear all unfilled orders at the interbank market, remove imposition of allocation and utilization rules on commercial banks, and implement an effective program to support the interbank market. The operator of the interbank FX market, the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange, was therefore advised to activate its FX order book system as soon as possible and fast-track the onboarding of Forex clients on its FX relationship systems in order to ensure total transparency of the FX market. Bosuna Mofaye, China's Business News.
Well, now let's welcome to the studio Mr. Bismarck Rewane. He's an economist as well as Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company. It's a pleasure having you on the news at 10.
Good evening, Millicent.
What do you make of the new policy actions of the foreign exchange market, essentially?
Actually, walking back to where we should have been June 22nd last year. So what happened was, in June 22nd last year, we announced a flexible exchange rate policy. We were supposed to implement a floating managed rate, but instead the central bank implemented a fixed managed rate. And what happened essentially was that the market got segmented into all sorts of layers.
Okay.
But let's step back a little bit and ask, how did we get here? First and foremost, this is a country currency in crisis. We started with a commodity price shock, followed by a currency crisis, and followed by a full-blown economic crisis, leading the economy into a recession. But underlying all of this is a currency misalignment. The fair value of the currency today, if you use the purchasing power parity analysis, is about 340 to 350. Typically, you have a 40% premium based on fair uncertainty, speculation, fear, and illegitimacy. And if you add 40% to 340, you get about 476. Under no circumstances should the parallel market be trading more than 476 in a fair market. But what has happened is that because of the implementation of this system by the central bank, which was wrong, you created a crisis of supply and a crisis of confidence. What the central bank has done today is to now deal with the question of supply by increasing supply, but also has to deal with the problem of confidence.
So in your opinion, this is why maybe around 4 today, we got the Naira dropped to 520, and then they released this right around 5 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, but that's okay. Usually when there's a policy change like this, the market diverges before it converges. So I think you will see 520, maybe 525, 30, 530, and then the market begins to converge to take into consideration. So what does this policy? The policy says that you will not sell more than 20%. So essentially, you are going to have a rate of 305 plus 20%, which is 366. So you have, right now, you will have price discriminating monopoly. You're going to have about 8 or 9 different rates. First rate is a spot rate, which is 305. Then you'll have an export proceeds rate. You would have invisible transaction rate, which is this rate of 366. Then you will have the BDC rate, which is 400. Then you have the cash transfer rate, which is 520 plus the 5 cash transfer, which is another 20 Naira. And then you have the forward contract rates, and you have the non-deliverable forwards and futures contract. The way to go is to converge all of this and unify. You have to have a unified exchange rate managed in a floating basis rather than have multiple exchange rates, because that is what creates round-tripping and abuse of
So essentially, the objective was to meet Nigerians halfway, take care of all of these expenses, PTAs, BTAs. Do you think there's any efficiency in the future?
It's a move in the right direction, but let me tell you what. You're going to give $1 million to 20 banks every week, making $80 million, plus the BDCs will get about $25 million. So essentially, you're going to have about $105 million for invisible transactions, and then the tradables will have about $800 million. There's still a gap, all right? But the moment you increase supply, the pressure on the other market begins to reduce. So initially, there'll be divergence, then there'll be some convergence. But until you have a unified rate, until you better put all of this money rather than discriminate. Okay, this is a rate 305 today plus 20%, 366, then another 400, then another. You are just creating problems for people to take advantage of this process. So what should be done?
Right.
We must move to a unified exchange rate, put the supply in the market, make the spot market efficient, and then follow up with forwards rather than create a backlog and then say you're clearing the backlog. The backlog should not have existed in the first place.
Well, just to finally ask you this one question. In the long run, do you see this FX increasing efficiency, helping the manufacturing sector, aiding intervention programs? I mean, this is not the first time it's been done.
Well, what you have done now is to move towards a unified. So what they've cancelled the allocation. So there's no preferential allocation. They actually move, the comments are positive, but the actions still leave room for market, different rates, multiple exchange rates. We will move towards unified exchange rate. You are not going to have unified exchange rate in one day. What you are going to have is that the exchange rates will go from 8 to about 4 and then 3 eventually. But I suspect that very soon, within a month or two, the central bank will know that a multiple exchange rate system does not work. They need to have an efficient, transparent, right, and a system where nobody is going to be able to rig this market. That market was rigged all along, and now they're moving in the right direction.
All right, many thanks, Mr. Bismarck Rawane. He's an economist as well as Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you.
Moving on, the Senator Ahmed Makarfi-led faction of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has resolved to appeal last week's Court of Appeal judgment in Port Harcourt, which reinstated Senator Ali Modu Sheriff as the chairman of the party. Well, the group announced its decision at an emergency meeting in Abuja, organized to decide the next step of action with respect to the judgment. Both Senator Makarfi and the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Governor Ayodele Fayose, expressed confidence that the Apex Court will overturn the Port Harcourt judgment. Earlier, the International Conference Centre, initially fixed to host the emergency meeting, was barricaded by the police, forcing the group to relocate to the Ekiti State Government Lodge.
Barely 48 hours after Senator Ali Modu Sharif was declared by an appeal court in Port Harcourt as the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, on Friday, the Markafi-led faction summoned emergency meetings to be held at the International Conference Center in Abuja on Monday, the 20th of February 2017. The date came, the venue barricaded by policemen. But this did not stop the group from holding the scheduled meeting as they relocated to another venue. At the Ekiti State Governor's Lodge in Abuja, members loyal to the Markafi-led caretaker committee, including some serving and former governors of the PDP, gather in their numbers.
Members.
Addressing the gathering, Senator Markafi states that the group has filed an appeal and a motion to allow its committee continue to function.
After consulting stakeholders such as you and others, we decided to immediately file an appeal and also a motion for injunction. Especially the motion for injunction is to allow the caretaker committee to continue to function.
Some of the governors in attendance also pledged their support to the decision to appeal the judgment.
It is no to Sharif. It is no to Sharif. We want to say whether Supreme Court too will not be supreme enough to dispense of this matter ASAP.
I will not. Rivers State will not do anything with anybody other than Markafi-led.
As it stands, the leadership crisis in the PDP has defied every effort of its members to resolve it, as many here believe strongly that the apex court will have the final say.
Meanwhile, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Ali Modu Sharif, has met with former President Goodluck Jonathan in Abuja behind closed doors. Both Dr. Jonathan and Senator Sharif told journalists after the meeting in Abuja that the current leadership crisis in the PDP will soon be settled. Some leaders of the party in the Ahmed Markafi group last week met with the former president to discuss how to resolve the party's leadership crisis.
The ability of resolving these differences is what makes us human beings and what makes us leaders. I met with Sharif and leaders of the party. I'll meet with others. And at the end of the day, PDP will become stronger so that we will be able to do what is expected of us as a political party.
There's only one PDP and there's only one national chairman.
We hear him saying, my chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are putting everything together to make sure that the party is united. We are not fighting with anybody. It is not time to join issues with people. We need everybody to come back. We want a united home. We don't want to see a divided home. But we'll continue with the consultation. Very soon, I'll give you a roadmap. We don't have anything like caretaker in our party. We have only one PDP. Yes, a group of people have a right to sit down and meet as a group of people, not as PDP. And I have no issues to join with them, because if I will go down to their level, then myself and them have no difference. I'm a father of the party. I will unite everybody. I'll make sure that everybody gets what he wants in PDP.